Hello and welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport and Merry Christmas. I am recording this on Christmas Day. And to start with, I'm going to apologise for not releasing any content this week. Unfortunately, I have been very unwell. Really bad cough, really bad sore throat. Not very easy to record videos in that state. So there was a couple of videos that I wanted to release that have unfortunately been delayed. So what are we talking about on Christmas Day? Politics in Formula One, of course. Festive season, why not? So, I've always kind of been in the middle of the argument where some people don't want politics in sport, other people think there should be. I tend to side with the people who don't want politics in sport, because I think for a lot of people, you work all week, you make what money you can, you are just trying to get by, pay your bills. At the weekend, you want to de-stress, you just want to watch a Formula One race. You don't necessarily want politics and all that, you just want the racing. But at the same time, I mean, the kneeling that was going on last year and the year before, it was like a minute on Sky Sports. You could have just gone to make a cup of tea, but most people took it to Twitter and got angry. And therefore, we get arguments. It's not worth arguing about. You can just ignore it if you don't want to watch it. And for the most part, it's pretty invisible anyway. But the FIA have gone one step further and have pretty much outlawed all forms of protest, political statements, religious statements, personal statements, pretty much everything. Any kind of free speech the drivers might have, they now need permission to do it. If you want to show off your rainbow coloured helmet in Qatar, you need the FIA's permission. I suppose a way around it would be have a rainbow coloured helmet, but say it's not a pride thing. To say you wanted a rainbow coloured helmet. People can attach their own political leanings to it then, and you're not protesting. So there you go, you can have that one for free. I personally don't like this. It's very authoritarian. The FIA have been pretty good at allowing drivers to bring across their own feelings and political stances on various topics, whether you agree with them or not. It means they have complete control of everything that's said. Now, they haven't really specified what punishment you'll get. I don't think they'll ban you from races. I think at most it'll be a fine. Possibly tens of thousands, which to these multi-millionaires, it's not a lot, but then you don't get rich just by throwing money away. And when you look at the races on the calendar, a lot of them are in the Middle East now. You have Bahrain and Saudi Arabia and Qatar. There's also countries like Hungary, which are not exactly LGBT friendly. And these are the racetracks we want to go because they're the ones paying the money. The big money to have races there. And so, unfortunately, it's come to this. I think they are fed up with drivers like Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton protesting. They have turned up with rainbow helmets at Middle Eastern events. Well, the FIA want those events to pay them money, then they're going to have to stamp down on this. And it's going to get messy. There's going to be arguments. Drivers, I think, are going to try doing things, maybe getting around it. I don't know how successful they're going to be, and I don't know how forcefully the FIA are going to enforce this. President Mohammed bin Sulayem has had a controversial year and a bit in charge, or as president of the FIA, and this was the next step. And China's off the calendar because of what's going on over there, but it wasn't because of human rights issues or their views on the LGBTQ community, purely virus related. And more tracks are popping up in the Middle East, and that means certain caveats are going to be made for those countries. It's kind of sad to see. It's not really what I would want from Formula One, to have these arguments involved at all. Don't really want to be discussing political protests in Formula One. But by going to these countries, you're making it necessary. Honestly, I think we'd still be racing in Russia if there wasn't outside pressure not to. Because the FIA don't really seem to care about that sort of thing. They want to expand the sport, which is obvious, because that's the name of the game, isn't it? Get as many eyes on your product as possible. But that seemingly comes at a price, and we know where the FIA want to make their money. And it's quite shocking how little has come out since they've announced this. You'd expect certain drivers to be up in arms about this, and yet it's been fairly quiet. And so we go into 2023 with a very long calendar, and I'm just waiting for the first arguments to kick off, and I will be covering them on this channel because I do think this is quite an interesting topic, and it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Now, sadly, in other news from Formula One, on Christmas Eve, former Formula One driver Philip Streif passed away. He was a fairly decent hand in the mid-80s. He raced for Renault, I think he raced for Tyrrell and AGS. He was a high runner for AGS in the European Formula 2 Championship before Formula 1. He got a podium with Renault, I believe, and unfortunately he was paralysed in a pre-season testing crash in 1989 that ended his career. And, you know, to pass away the day before Christmas must be terrible for his family. He was only 65, which isn't ancient. So it's another old star of Formula One has passed away, which is very, very sad. Other than that, there will be more content incoming. As I said, I've been unwell, but I have been writing stuff and getting stuff ready. As soon as I feel able to record a longer video, I will. And with that, hopefully, by the new year, we'll be really kicking off towards 700 subscribers. I'd like to do it before February, and I think it's possible. We've had a bit of growth recently. So thank you everyone who's subscribed. Thank you everyone for a fantastic 2022. I hope you have a really good Christmas or whatever, and a fantastic new year. So be good to each other and have a good one.